Hello again, everyone. In this video, we are going to be looking at probably the simplest way to get going with virtual environments on Linux Mint 22.1 Xia. Virtual environments are a great thing. It lets you kind of isolate your packages, dependencies, and really makes your code modular. Honestly, I really hardly ever use them. I avoid them just out of laziness, honestly. Usually I can find workarounds, or I'm spinning up a single VM and I'm just running Python there, or I'm kind of doing one-off projects. But I decided to break down and make this video just to kind of streamline the process if you wanted to get going with virtual environments. They're not that bad, so let's jump right in. So here I have a new VM of Linux Mint 22.1. I'm just going to open up a terminal here, make that nice and big. I'm going to cat my release just so we can see that I am on 22.1. And so now I'm going to Control L just to clear that out. The issue this video is addressing, I do have another video showing how you can kind of break this limitation, but it isn't really the right way. I'll link that down in the comments. So if I do a pip install pandas, pip not found, but it can be installed. Oh, I guess I need to install that. Python 3-pip. Put in my password. Put in my correct password. Okay. And let's see. While that's loading up, let me open up another terminal here. And that's another thing I kind of want to point out. If I just do Python, Python not found, did you mean Python 3? And if you do Python 3, there you go, you have your Python 3.12.3 running. If you want to alias that, you just can nano your bashrc file. And if you're not familiar, it just, every time you open up a terminal, it loads this file. You can set paths, export variables, things like that, or do an alias like we're going to do here. I'm just going to Control End. Let's see if I can remember this. Alias Python 3. I usually get this backwards. Actually, I think on the left is what the command is going to be, and then what it points to is on the right. But we can test that. Control X, Y, enter. Again, I'm just going to show Python source, the bashrc file. And if I'm not in my home directory, I will want to give the whole path to my bashrc file. So now I should be able to do Python. And all that really does is say, hey, if you see this command in my terminal, I actually mean this other command. I find that very useful. So just a little tip there for you. Okay, I'm going to up arrow twice. Actually, give us some more space. And here we go. It's kind of forcing us to make virtual environments now, which is probably a good thing. You don't want to be messing around with system Python. So say there's a utility in Linux Mint that depends on a specific version of NumPy, and I go to install pandas and it says, oh, you know what, I need a different version of NumPy. Strange and unintended consequences may ensue. So again, I have another video on how to break this if you like to live dangerously. And here it just says you can create a virtual environment. If we can see that, Python 3-m venv path to your venv. Okay, so I could do Python 3, but because I have that aliased, I can just do Python-m for module. And actually, let me create a directory for this. So I'm going to make a directory, venv test, cd into that directory, just to see where I'm at here. And now I will Python-m. The module I want to run is virtual env, and I want to call this .venv. Oh, so this is a, I like these errors because I had this terminal open before I modified my bashrc file. I'm just going to do ... for up1 directory, bashrc. Now I should be able to run that. And as you can see, it's saying I need to install this package here. And it's 3.12 venv, which is very important. This package will allow you to make virtual environments, but it is tied to Python 3.12. I can't think of the software off the top of my head, but it does allow you to manage Python versions. Not sure if I'm thinking of poetry, but so you are going to be on one version of Python. You will have different virtual environments with different packages and possibly different versions of those packages. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, we'll let that install. Again, give ourselves some more room. And now we have that installed. We created our virtual environment. If I ls, because I put a dot here, that's a hidden directory. There's a few reasons to do this. One, it's clean. You just don't see all that clutter if you're using a code editor. Two, it's just kind of a convention. Visual Studio Code by default looks for .venv. Now it does give preference to certain common names used to make virtual environments. I think like env. But it also, I think, just looks for any virtual environment now. And also, this is very easy to put in a git ignore file. You can just make a git ignore .venv, and then all those packages aren't pushed to your repo. That's why you do a requirements file. Because when you think about it, requirements, what do? They go out to the intranets and pull down those packages. Whereas if you actually push the packages themselves, that's a lot of unneeded bloat. Hopefully that makes sense. Just requirements are the better way to go. Now to activate this, we are going to source venv, let's see, bin, activate, and then we can see we are in our virtual environment. And if we want to get out of that, we just need to deactivate. If I can spell deactivate. Okay, so now we are back in our regular environment. And I don't want to go too deep into it, but you can think of virtual environment as just saying, hey, when I go to install a package or when I'm importing a package, don't look at the system paths where that's usually stored. We're going to stick a path above all of those for preference and say, hey, look here. And that's pretty much what your virtual environment is. Okay, let's see. Before we move on, let's make this a little bit cleaner. I'm going to nano bashrc and add a few more lines for convenience. I'm going to go down to the bottom here, give myself plenty of room, and I don't have copy and paste enabled on this. Yeah, I'll go ahead and type it out. So if, and this is going to check for an empty string, and this is a system variable. So if there is no virtual environment, then I want to look for a file. And what file do I want to look for? Dot being the current directory, and venv, because if we're being nice and clean, we're always going to name it that. For reasons not to. But if there are, I'm not aware of them. So if that is the case, I want to run the command source /venv bin activate. If you're in this a lot, this will actually save you time, because this is going to allow us to just run activate. And actually, else echo no dot venv found in the current directory. Fi to close these out. And let's see. And I should be able, I did not define that as a function. And I'm not going to waste too much time. Let me just throw this in ChatGPT. I can't remember what the syntax is in Bash. I think it is. I think it's just open paren, close paren. View, will that allow me to trying to open up my bashrc file. You know what, let me just do this. I'm going to make this a function, please. And I can go ahead and, what does it say, new text file, and go up one directory. I can just cat out my bashrc, which just prints that out. And I want to take all of this, copy it, Control V to paste that in, highlight it all, Control square bracket to the right just to move that over. And I should be able to activate. Oh, I would have forgotten the curly braces. I have to admit that. So I'm just going to Control C. Give ourselves some room. Bashrc. Control N to go to the bottom. And while that's taking a moment to delete, it's going to be actually Control Shift V to paste in here if you're not familiar with Nano. And let me see if I source.bashrc. Oops. Okay. Now I should just be able to activate, and now I'm in, and deactivate. Sorry for the detour. I'll put that code, I'll either make a GitHub repo and link it in the description, or I'll just paste it in the description. All right, so cool thing here, I do have Visual Studio Code installed, so let me just go ahead and code dot to start it here. And how about we keep it open? And now if I do control tick mark the little mark or little key under your escape key, let's see, that's a little odd that it did not it didn't pick up the virtual environment. I think it is probably because this is a brand new install. Let me just make a directory decoy, just because there's going to be a throwaway directory. Start Visual Studio Code here. I just want to let it know that I will be using Python. Okay, I want that extension. And that extension might be the piece that picks up the virtual environment. I'm not anywhere near certain on that, but that's my intuition on that. We just do print test, or the canonical hello world. Control S to save that. Because that extension is now installed, I do get this nice little play button. Okay, and hello world. So I'm just going to clean up after myself a little bit, remove that directory, change back into the virtual environment directory, and start Visual Studio Code. Now it should be picking that up. And actually, maybe I lied. I think if I go to run Python in this environment, it should look... It didn't ask me before to select an interpreter because it was pointing to the system Python. So I should be able to run this, and we should see it down here in the terminal. Make that bigger. If we go ahead and run that, okay, that went ahead and activated it. As you can see, I should have left that other one open. Let's close. Oh, I didn't want to close the whole thing. The piece I'm looking at is here. It's not, so it's sourcing home Gary, which is my username on this PC, or in this VM, the directory, and then the .venv, and if you look in here, bin Python. So that would be its executable of Python 3.12 for this virtual environment. And now, because we are in a virtual environment, we can do things like pip install pandas. Probably could have picked a smaller package. But see, no warnings. Oh, and if we expand this out real quick, we should be able to see this start populating. Because it's installing the packages here. lib64. So I guess it's probably a 32-bit version and a 64-bit version that's installing. So you see those there. And actually, that's annoying. Something I do want to point out that I shouldn't have installed that first. Let me do a pip uninstall pandas. Yes, I want to remove that. All right. It looks like it didn't remove everything. Let's see. What does pip freeze have right now? Yeah, so these were installed. Those are not like the system packages that come automatically. Let me just do this real quick. Make another directory, pip demo and Python module venv. I don't know, Bob. I'm just want to show that it doesn't really matter what you call it. But now if you ls, you see that. Oh, and I put that right in my user's home directory. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, let's do pip demo. Python module venv Bob. Okay, and now we should just be able to do activate, and it's looking for .venv. We probably could generalize that. Say, hey, if anything in this directory, 2 directories deep, has the name activate, run that. But might be a fun thought experiment if you care to do it. But in our case, we just have to do the old school source bob bin activate. So now we're in our virtual environment Bob. And if I do a pip freeze, there's nothing because I haven't installed anything extra at the moment. But if I wanted to, I could try to think of something really lightweight. I know there's plenty out there, but I guess I'll have to go with pandas again. That'll take a moment. And let's see. I can do pip freeze requirements.txt. And now if we cat that out, we see all of our data here. And here if we just do import pandas as PD, save that and run it. No module named pandas, but I guess what I wanted to show here was we could do something like just take that requirements, and if that was in our project and we went ahead and we pulled that, make that a little smaller, collapse that, see we have our requirements here. We are in our virtual environment, so now we could just do pip install -r for requirements, the name of our requirements file, and then well, that was a little fast because it was using a cached version, I think, or at least portions of it, and now that runs fine. Okay, so that's about it. This is how I would say this is enough to make you dangerous, but this is enough to make you not dangerous. So you don't have to mess with your system Python worrying about version conflicts. Oh, for this project I need this version of matplotlib, but over here I need this version of PySpark, and they have a shared dependency but a different version number. But now just, I guess, some extra stuff, because I was curious, I was poking around. And when you come in here, let's go ahead and I'm going to deactivate this. But then I'm just going to do code. And I will start one here. And new file. Call this hello.py, doesn't matter. Print hi. Oh, well, there we go. Interesting. See, what this is telling me is it used our system Python. User bin Python 3. So, let me clean up these windows a little bit. Don't save that. Okay. I'm going to go to this directory. Actually, I was done with this one. Oh, so I was in pip demo. Okay. Let's go to pip demo ls. We're gonna rmrf for remove recursively forced. You need that to remove directories in Linux. And I'm gonna do a Python, and I'm gonna call this .bob. And I'm just gonna close this and open that up. And notice, okay, so that was my mistake at the beginning. I thought that Visual Studio Code, I guess it checks any dot file. There, of course, it checks for .venv first, .venv, if I didn't say all those letters. Then I think it checks for .env. There's like 3 other ones, but then I think it checks for any directory, and is there a virtual environment? If there is, then yeah, go ahead and run that. Okay, so let's close that down. Let's see if we can break it a little bit. So here I'm going to remove the .bob directory, and I'm going to make one, and I'm going to call this Steve. Okay, now if we, oh, I did give it a dot, so ls, lah, so we see Steve there, and I'm going to start Visual Studio again, and I'm going to go ahead and run this. Actually, let's see. If I keep this session open, and then I go ahead, let's see. Let's do Rachel. I feel like it's kind of biased using just guys' names. Oh, create, don't destroy the virtual environment. Let's see. There we go. And we should see it appear here. I'm going to go ahead and run that. And you notice it says, hey, I want to run home Gary pip demo.steve because that was the virtual environment that I detected when I opened. That's the Python I'm pointing at. I don't know. Let's see if we close and reopen it. If it goes ahead and detects it again. If it looks fresh at it and says, oh, hey, it's a different virtual environment, and it does. But let's see. Let's remove this, and we'll get it to throw an error again. And we'll call this one, oh, Ted. My brain's not working too fast today. And we're going to go back here. We're going to say, okay, let's run that. It's saying there's no such file or directory. I'm going to deactivate that virtual environment, and I'm just going to run it. And you see it is looking for Rachel. I can Control-Shift-P. If I just start typing interpreter, select Python interpreter, I could create a virtual environment here. I'm sure that's gotten way better. I know I was messing around with it a few years back and ran into some issues. It does have the main system Python here. I think that's just actually a symlink to the system Python. It sees the virtual environment here, or if I want to specifically give it a Python interpreter somewhere else. So I was curious and was thinking, well, where does it store this information? It's got to be a config file, and hopefully I can find it very quickly. In here, there is a .vscode directory here when you install Visual Studio Code. So I just want to cd into vscode. And MS Python, VS Code, Python. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Okay, I took a wrong turn there. So it's actually going to be in config, and let's see, it's going to be in code, user, global storage, and if we look here, we have a state vscdb. I should just be able to SQLite 3 state.vscdb. Oh, I guess it would be helpful to have SQLite installed. Put in my password, maybe the correct one. All right. That should be a quick install. Up arrow twice, and tables. Okay, select. I just happen to know that there is value and I think key in this table from item table. Was it key or... Oh, I put value. I want key. And there should be something on Python here. I think it's this one. The mspython.python. Let's see, select value from item, what was it called here? Okay, I'm just going to do .tables again. Okay, select value from item table. Hopefully that's not case sensitive. Where key equals that. Semicolon to finish it. In here somewhere. I wish I could format that better. Select interpreter, queried once, true. Sorry, I shouldn't be reading while I'm doing this. Let me go ahead and I'm somewhere in there. It should show kind of the environments and the interpreter where it's pointing. So that's going to be what gets updated. So if we go back here, that's why we're getting this hey, there's no such file or directory, because when I opened it, it said, hey, there's a virtual environment here. The user probably wants to use that. So it activates it. It makes an entry in the configuration in the database and says, hey, when this directory fires up or for this session, go ahead and use this Python, the path to this Python virtual environment, or if you have different versions installed. Again, you could select another and can you parse this? And I'm just going to throw, oh, I don't have copy and paste enabled. Oh, geez. Actually, let me do this. I'm just going to say select value from item table where key equals ms python.python. Let me swing this around just so I'm not typing to myself. That's worse than talking to yourself. How can I parse this SQLite query to show for each session what default Python or virtual Python interpreter is used? So query the database, usually found at key value item table. Let's see. Is that where I was? This got interesting. I'm just gonna exit, semicolon. Is it Q? Wait, it might be whack Q. Dang it. Control C. There we go. Present working directory, ls. Let's just see what Python locator. Okay. So that's just pointing to the system Python. I'm a little curious now, because I'm thinking that these are probably maybe not. I was thinking these might be sessions that we created. I should have checked here. Okay. So those are probably linked somehow in there. Let's do, I'm just going to do Control Shift P. I'm going to select an interpreter. Which one do I want? I'll go ahead and do TED in here. Parse db.py. sure this is going to have us do all kinds of installs. Oh. Let's see if I can copy this now. Okay. Control save, or Control S for save. That I can tell we're going to need the tilde, meaning my home directory. Unable to open database file. Let's go back here. I'm going to cd change directories up 2 directories. Present working directory. I'm going to take. Actually, you know what? I'll take the whole thing. That's best practice and just a little better. And oh, path.home. Oh, that was using my home directory and then appending that to it. So we don't need that. We have the whole path. And we just need that. And we'll put that in there. Let's see what we get. We're probably going to need a few installs here. Okay. But I can see at least one of my environments in there. Oh. So maybe that's tracking the events. Let's see. The last entry in here is pip demo, and it's TED. So you know what? Let's do, just for fun, I'll just make one here. Python -mvenv dot hello code. Oh, well, it should open up by default. Let me just go ahead and do it there. It should detect that. Okay, so the last entry we have is, oh, okay. So workspace folder interpreter path, home Gary pip demo is TED. If we run that again, oh, maybe it got confused because there's too many directories in there with dots in them. rmrf.hello make dir test cd test, and there we'll go ahead and try opening up code there. Make that a little bigger. Run.py. Print hi. Did I not make a virtual environment there? Oh. Well, let's go ahead and run this one more time. Okay. So we see workspace folder interpreter path. So I'm guessing it's saying, hey, if you're in this directory, home Gary test. ls lah. Yep, that looks good. And I'm going to close this, reopen it. Hopefully it drops us into the virtual environment. If not, okay. So actually this is a pretty good test. So if I run this again, Python was discovery triggered. Oops. Not that. I want to select Python interpreter. Python select interpreter. There we go. So if I want to do hello, run that, and we can see it is pointing to that now. I'm just curious. Okay. Workspace folder interpreter path. We scroll up, I wonder if I can. Yeah, let's take a look at these. tst.txt. Why not? So I want to take this, paste that, and I did it from key. So here I'm going to look for key. Oh. Right click, copy. Control End. Control V to paste that in. I just want to kind of look at these in a and I'm using Control-Shift-L if you're not familiar. If you double click on something, Control-Shift-L gives you multi-cursor. So let's see. It looks like it just kind of stuck this at the end. So it looks pretty similar. But I'm not familiar, so I won't speak to this. I just think it's really interesting how it keeps track of those sessions. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, man, I really should have bailed 10 minutes ago, feel free to leave that comment. Warn the others who might stumble across this video. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. Even if you don't understand how something works, to try to figure out how something works, become more familiar with it, because that's how you really learn to see what's going on behind the scenes, breaking it, and I just think it's really cool to see. If I ever figure this out, I will make a follow-up video, or at least make a long thing down in the description, letting you know what I find out. But using virtual environments, great practice, best practice. Get familiar with them, be able to use them, but I'm not going to hold it against you if you don't use them, as long as it's reasonable. If you're just spinning up VMs, doing local dev, playing around. Like I said, I don't use them too much, but it's definitely another great tool to have in your belt. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in another one.